All right, so lesson 13 on congruence. Shouldn't be too bad. We've already talked about what congruent means. Question 1 says they are congruent to two trapezoids. Remember, trapezoids have one pair of parallel sides. That's what makes these a trapezoid. It says draw and label the points on A prime, B prime, C prime, D prime. That would be this one. That corresponds to E and D. So E would have to go here. Of course, we're going to call that E prime because we're moving it. F, approximate location. Not going to have you measure it. And we're going to label that F prime. So let's draw and label the points in A, B, C that correspond to G prime and H prime. So now we're transferring the other way. These do have to be in the exact spot. G prime is, of course, the G in the original shape. H prime is H in the original shape. Draw and label at least 3 more pairs of corresponding points. So 3 more pairs. So they don't give us letters, so we probably would just go alphabetical. I would be the next one, so you need a spot for I somewhere. This seems to be a good spot. J, sure. K, let's put it between A and E. Then I'm going to correspond them on the other side. So I would be, of course, I prime, J prime, and K prime. And you could have those anywhere you want as long as they're corresponding. Same spot. Question number 2, directions are on the bottom 111. Are any of the ovals congruent to one another? And explain how you know. So take a peek at that. Give you 15 seconds or so. What do you think, Wyatt?
Yeah.
Which ones? Which ones are congruent?
No. Those 2 are congruent, top ones.
Top 2? How do you know?
Because they're the same size,
Okay, same size,
same shape.
same shape. Yeah, I mean, we could trace it to be sure. Maybe you notice that if we were to draw a rectangle around it, it's kind of a 3x2 rectangle, which would be the same as this one. I agree with that. Okay, those 2 are congruent. How about the bottom 2? They are? Why?
Because they're the same size, both 2.5 units.
Okay, 2.5 squares long and 2 high. 2.5 squares long and 2 high. Sure. Yeah, just don't say it looks like it. Okay, don't say that because you can be deceived. Some of them have been pretty close. And if you're ever in doubt, obviously trace it would be the best bet. Okay, trace it would be the best bet. All right, we're going to skip the are you ready? Get into 13.3 on the right side. It says here are 2 congruent shapes with some corresponding points labeled. And then the directions are on the next page. So I'll let you flip back and forth. Unfortunately, you have to do that to answer this question. But it's similar to the first one that we did. So flip back and forth. Please answer that question or questions. I think there's 3 of them. On top of 114. All right, so we'll see how you did. Now it can get a little tricky to see exactly where those points are, so I traced it, wrote down the letters, and then I got to match up A with A prime, and obviously I need to flip it over as well. And that shows you where the letters go in their corresponding spot. So that's why this has to be E prime, D prime, and B prime. That can be kind of hard to see if you're flipping it in your head. So if you have trouble, I always recommend tracing it, then you know it's the exact answers that you need it to be. All right, so that was part A, or 1. Number 2 says draw line segments AD and A prime D prime, so connecting A and D on both of them. Do the same for BC and AE. BC and AE. BC, AE. It does say measure them. And what do you notice? So of course you could just trace it and then you wouldn't need a ruler and see how long it is compared to this one. But we should know what's going to happen there. It says, what do you notice? What's true about their lengths? Othniel, what's true about their length? Like B prime, C prime compared to BC. Or AD, A prime, D prime versus AD. What do you think is true about their length?
Yeah, right.
What's that?
Yeah, right.
Now, why is that? Why do we think they're similar? Same shape, right? Did we do anything to change the size of our figure? No. No, the rigid transformation it's talking about, the rotation, the reflection, the sliding, doesn't change anything about the shape besides the direction it's facing. So they are all the same. You don't have to measure. You don't have to trace. You can hopefully see that. Our shapes are the same. That means everything inside of the shape is the same. I connect C prime, E prime, that should be the same as CE. And you can trace that and prove it. Okay, they are all the same. So for number 2, you should notice they are all equal lengths. The ones you are comparing. And for 3, no, they're not going to change because the shape is not changing. Rigid transformations, those 3 things we mentioned, do not affect what the shape looks like, just the direction. Okay, the last one there, the astonished faces. You got Max and Frankie. It says, are they congruent? And why? Zoe?
No.
Why?
There are different lengths between the eyes and mouth.
Yeah, eyes and the mouth are further distance. Over here it's 1, 2, 3. Here it's 2 1/4. What else? Ian? Eyes are further apart. And all you need is one thing to be different for it not to be congruent. So that was already 2, and there's probably more. Just make sure when you say no that you explain why. Defend your answer. Why did you pick that one? All right, your homework. Starting on page 117. You're going to have a lot of questions like on 2. Are they congruent and why? Make sure you answer that. Question 4, it says describe. Make sure we do that. So only 4 questions today, should not take you too long. It is thrive time day, so you do have a little less time. But we should be able to still get that accomplished. Again, if you'd like tracing paper, please help yourself.